We are now going to have a couple of very intense and interesting sessions for the rounds of this afternoon. Now let's talk about the pros and cons of the increasing use of emerging technologies in the healthcare industry. We have Manish Chhabra, founder and CEO of Shifa International FC LLC with us, who will shed light on the extremely relevant topic, meaningful access to healthcare, the good, the bad, the future of healthcare with technology. Please put your hands together and welcome Manish Chhabra on the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. And I hope after lunch, everyone is awake. And if you are not, what I'm going to present, it will certainly make you awake. So may I please request everyone to stand up in the room, please. If any one of you have waited more than 30 minutes in a doctor's office, please take a seat. When you go and visit a doctor and you have to wait more than 30 minutes, please take a seat. Fantastic. Lucky ones here, those who don't have to. Anyone who have been touched by a condition like cancer, rheumatoid arthritis, or inflammation? No one is standing in the room. So what I'm trying to say is, we all are impacted by health and the health issues, and the limitation of time comes with it. So what I'm going to talk about today is how we're going to address this global challenge of access to meaningful health. So what is healthcare? So healthcare is not getting a medicine. Healthcare is not seeing a doctor. Healthcare not is seeing a physician. Healthcare is only valid if you have access to the health. If you are sick today, I'll give you the best medicine 20 years later. That's not the healthcare. That's not going to treat your condition, what you are suffering with today. Next slide, please. Oh my God, this is big. So before coming to the technology, I was managing a company, Pfizer, $1 billion P&L, with the 1,600 people in my team. And I'm here in blue suit, and blue suit today as well. So what I do, everyone in Japan is not allowed to have any other suit other than black if you're going to a conference. But we can't be that mold where we have to be dictated by the suit of color of your caliber. Next slide, please. So what we're looking at the global stage, the challenge, we have 7 billion population today. It's growing at increasing rate. We only have 15 million doctors available on the planet to be treating 7 billion people. That means 466 patients to be treated per se by each doctor. That is not true. The geographical distribution of those doctors is so diverse that in India, one doctor per 14,000 patients. If that doctor will see the patients for 123 years, every day, 24/7, still cannot manage to see 14,000 patients. It's a massive, massive challenge. Next slide, please. So we have shortage of the healthcare professionals. We have geographical distribution unequal on the planet. We have 1 to 14,000 ratio in the countries like India, where WHO ratio says you have 1 doctor to 1,000 patients. So we are struggling with this mammoth task of treating the people with living with horrible diseases. And on top of that, sustainability of health is massive. So I am walking through a very simple math here. So if you want to develop a treatment, what I call INN, so new entity, which is a completely synthetic chemical, say it costs $1 today. You get 10 years patent life on it. After that, it will be genericized. There'll be probably 700 companies on the planet. They'll manufacture generic production of that. Sad part is the regulatory authority allows you to have 85% equality to the originator, or in other words, 15% variability being under the 100% or being above the 100%. So imagine if your blood pressure, if your cholesterol is on borderline and you're taking a medicine which have 15% variation in it, your treatment outcome will be totally different. But economics will drive it. The price drops by 60%. Then, very new buzzword, biologics. So Trastuzumab. So before Trastuzumab, HER2-negative breast cancer was untreatable. You were given 3 months, you will die, or you will not have any progression-free survival. But when Trastuzumab was invented, HER2-negative cancer became treatable. Then there was this disease called inflammatory bowel disease. Not many people have heard of it, but 1 in 1,000 patients suffers with the inflammatory bowel disease, means your whole intestine is swollen all the time and it cannot handle food. You have to go to toilet every 10 minutes or in interval. People did not leave their homes for 30 years living with the inflammatory bowel disease. Then a miracle medicine appeared called Remsima, which is monoclonal antibody, reverse engineered, designed by human chimeric cell, which is immortal cell. So what happened before that? Any mammalian cell coming from humans, they were not immortal. So what we were being able to develop a cell type called SB2. Who developed it? Samsung. Samsung have never manufactured a single pill in their life. But when it comes to the complex medication or complex manufacturing, they're leading the way. So what is SB123 is, it's human cell merged with ovary of a mice. And we created this chimeric cell. This chimeric cell is now immortal, means it can multiply for the rest of the life. So the first one, only 3 cells were created. Then billions of cells were created. To keep the original chimeric cell, we created 3 secret banks where those cells are secured. No one knows where they are. In the event of a disaster, a cell mutation or genetic changes can damage the master cell bank. So the cost of biologics, yes, they treat patients really well. They bring you your life back, but the cost to treat them, it's $1,000 a month. In developing countries, you are talking about mortgaging your house if you want to have access to that. Following that, biologics had this great confirmation bias that our chimeric cell and the monoclonal antibody we are producing is so complex that no one can reverse engineer it. Means there will be no generic to the biologic. Here comes again, Samsung. They reverse engineered chimeric cell as well as its DNA vector and created highly similar, biosimilar to the biologics. Where in biosimilar approval, biologics for each indication, so indication means to each treatment for the disease, you have to have a clinical trial to get the indication. Where in biosimilars, to reduce the cost, you have to demonstrate three things. So the first one, can you demonstrate physiochemical analysis where 3D X-ray cryptography can show the monoclonal antibody on 3D angle looks exactly similar like the biologic. Number two, because monoclonal antibody binds to an epitome of a cell to create the process of apoptosis. So apoptosis is a process where cell is being told your lifespan has finished, now you need to die. Can the biosimilar demonstrate the same affinity to create the apoptosis? Yes. Then third one, you must conduct one confirmatory clinical trial in the most sensitive indication of that drug with very small number. And if you pass that, we will give you all the indications biologics have as extrapolated indications for the biosimilars. This has created a global debate around the globe because biologics says biosimilars do not have clinical data. Biosimilar says if we are similar enough, we have affinity enough, and we have confirmatory trial done, it should get the approval. So the result was there was internationally harmonized regulatory agencies, EMEA, TGA, and FDA came together and devised a regulatory path for the biosimilars. So now biosimilars are, by law, can be prescribed and substitute biologics. But challenge does not stop there. Because each biologic and each biosimilar is produced in individual chimeric cell. Means the microheterogeneity, I say it again, microheterogeneity is inherent characteristic of biologics or biosimilars. Means two biologics or two biosimilars will never be same. Every biologic batch have batch-to-batch variation because they're coming from the different cells. Each biosimilar have batch-to-batch variation that coming from the different cells. So most importantly, what happened? Biosimilars were challenged. Okay, you show us your variation between batch to batch is better than us. So they created a study called a bridge study in FDA. Biosimilars took 3 batches of biologics from US, 3 batches from EU, and 3 batches from Australia. And biosimilars took 1 batch of the biosimilars from Korea, being Samsung. Guess what? All 3 biologics have higher variation batch to batch compared to the biosimilars. So it means the biosimilars were actually more biosimilar than to the biologics. So costs have become an issue. Adoption is still not there. Europe have been very good adopting it. Norway have like 90% market share of biosimilars now, where Australia have 40%. So for emerging markets, biosimilars will be an answer for those life-threatening diseases, but adoption will take time. Then we move part to a technology called CRISPR. CRISPR is 21st century's finest innovation. What it does, it scans your DNA, whole DNA, identifies your chromosome number 13 have KRAS mutation on it, which will cause you non-small cell lung cancer, and you will die. CRISPR, you can think of a molecular scissor. It goes to every single chromosome of your body, cuts the 13th mutation out of that DNA, and leaves the human body's repair mechanism of that DNA to heal itself. And the trial being demonstrated with Novartis, 2 patients, paralyzed neck down, have regenerated the spinal cord, leg muscles, and femur and feet, and the legs. So means they create your body as a fetus, and it develops your organs again. But the cost is $200,000. So the way we are progressing in healthcare, yes, will be making advances, but to affordability, governments need to come on board. We do not have the cost effectiveness data of all these treatments, like which treatment is more cost effective. Next slide, please. So with Shifa, which is a unique product I created, where one patient can consult one doctor or 4 doctors anywhere in the world, in any language, on one screen, and get what I call shared care, prescription, diagnosis, treatment, and management plan. So what will happen with that is, if I say, I want to have my mother in India to be consulted with the local physician, speaking to a cardiologist in USA who speaks Punjabi, and they 3 will consult together, and they'll come up with a plan, and they'll do that. So today, we haven't launched it yet. We have 2,500 doctors. They will be providing 50,000 consultations a day, or 10 million consultations a year. If I take accumulatively, we acquiring 2,000 doctors a month, we will provide $384 million worth of revenue in year 1. 38 million will be the administration fee, which will get to Shifa. So total revenue comes there. But revenue is not the discussion part here. The part is, end of the 24 month, I will have data of 96 million patient consultations. I can give you their family history, epidemiology, their age group, their language, their prognosis, and what treatment they have switched during those 12 months. And when you publish that data, currently, when we approve a medicine, we take 500 patients, yeah? 250 patients get placebo, 250 patients get active medical ingredient. We publish primary endpoint. Wow, this drug works in 60% of the patient. And we apply that sample size of 500 patients to 7 billion population. With all due respect to the pharmaceuticals, we've been treating this planet numerically, not statistically. So when you'll have post-marketing data of 96 million people, and cost effectiveness will come in play, and then you will know from my previous slide which treatment will provide you a better outcome when it comes to the health economics, rather than going on a treatment on gut feel, which is based on only the data of the 500 people. Next slide, please. I'm very fancy with the slides, by the way. There's a lot of things are here. So what is Shifa? So as I said, Shifa, you can have 5-way video call with one doctor, two doctors, three doctors, four doctors, or two doctors, three family members, anywhere in the world, one screen, and you can do all the consultation, prescription, text, chat, everything on the same screen, and it's in one go. This will bring that burden of doctors not being accessible to 14,000 patients in India to very, very quickly from the phone. So India today have 400 million smartphones. In 2023, we will have 800 million smartphones. We have world's cheapest 5G data network. We have highest adoption rate of the social media. WhatsApp had 300 million users in 3 years. India have done demonetization, means every person in India can pay by the phone via Paytm or Visa or debit card. So ecosystem is properly set in India to provide the right consultation in India. Then I want to talk about, thank you. So blockchain person in the room, put the hand up who presented. Blockchain person, probably left. So I'm introducing you eCryptoRex. So eCryptoRex is world first interactive e-prescription built on blockchain with the crypto algorithm. A doctor will have a blockchain key, so when he'll prescribe, no one else can use that. And that prescription will be secure and will be traceable hundreds of years from now on if you want to do that on the blockchain. Why we did this? Why not a normal prescription pad? Why not a username, a password, and you can write a prescription? So I'll give you an example. I will not take the name of the companies. So when you register with a company to be a doctor on the system, to take appointments and provide prescription and all those kind of things, your username and your password stays with that company. So if that company have 100,000 doctors on the system and their prescription pad, I can prescribe 1 ton of pethidine delivered to different addresses via MetNed, and no one will ever be able to trace me. This is the risk in bioterrorism I'm talking about. That's going to happen, the misuse of medicine with the technology. So eCryptoRex is must. It's only generated once in a lifetime for the doctor. It's doctor's responsibility to manage it. And it's on the blockchain. Then we'll talk about multi-user and multilingual. So India have 65 languages. An Assamese doctor cannot provide a consultation to a Punjabi-speaking doctor. A Kannada-speaking doctor cannot provide a consultation to, say, Rajasthani-speaking doctor. A Spanish doctor cannot provide a consultation to an English-speaking doctor. So we built in 65 languages as well as English, plus we will be introducing 175 global languages in there. So artificial intelligence and auto-scheduling will allow you to connect to a doctor on the globe as per your schedule, as per the doctor's schedule, as per your language. Payments, invoices, everything is automated. You will never ever look at your books again. You will get a record. This many patients I have consulted. These many are the short consultation. This many are long consultation. Oncology is my key forte. Gastroenterology is my key forte. My population average age is 75. And that's your IP as a physician. So today, you do not get any IP rights to publish your data. You will be publishing phase 4 clinician data. I treated 100,000 patients with this disease, this medicine, and this is the outcome. And you will get the royalty for that. Then comes to access. So what we have created, it's world first, called virtual clinic. So it's click to clinic. So you want to see a doctor 2 a.m. at night. You press that button, the first available doctor in that nation or of your language will be available on your screen in 5 seconds. I call it Uber of doctors. So doctors will be virtually practicing, making themselves, yes, I am a virtual doctor. I practice 5 to 8, and that time I take consultation, which is coming virtually. What will happen with that? So today, when you do graduate as MBBS, you must do 3 years of rural stint in India, specifically. You have no practice. There are only 10,000 patients in that village. And then you finish your 3 years, you become an MD, you come to New Delhi, you have nowhere to go to do practice. You become the most glorified, unemployable person in that city. So with this, when you are doing your rural stint for 3 years after MBBS, you will be providing the virtual consultation around the India, around the globe, wherever you wanted to do. And by the time, in 3 years, you finished your degree, you have 6,000 of your own patients, and all you do, one announcement, guys, now I am a cardiologist. If you need to see me, you can consult me online, you can consult me virtually, you can consult me in my clinic, or I can offer home visit over the weekends. So that's really, really, really important, the access thing. Next slide, please. So it's a small video.
Welcome to the wonderful world of Shifa, the world's first multi-user, multilingual healthcare provision in one stunning app, designed for patients with the technology doctors and pharmacists need to deliver the diagnosis and medicine of tomorrow, today. Shifa helps break down geographical barriers and language ones too. Modern world. It allows patients to receive outstanding care and comfort in their home or location, wherever they are, and offers doctors and pharmacists the ability to manage their practices, consultations, diagnosis, record keeping, prescriptions, and time management, all under one roof. Dispensing accuracy and transparency within one proficient, powerful standalone medical domain. With Shifa, patients in rural locations can now access city healthcare specialists using Shifa's unique 5-way video consultation capability. To consult a doctor or multiple doctors individually or with family, all from their smartphone, and receive diagnosis and prescription all in one place. Shifa means healing, a spiritual blessing to help others heal or be a healer. You too can enjoy the free power of Shifa by downloading now.
Next slide, please. So, very complex slide. This slide worth $150 billion. They are 150 top companies advancing the healthcare. The size of this block is 5 billion. Yeah? This company does the breast cancer screening and predicts breast cancer 5 years early. If we keep moving through all the places, yeah? There's only 3 companies. Those who talk about access is the healthcare, not the medicine, not the physician, not the doctor. If you do not have access to the physician, to the medicine, to the doctors, healthcare means nothing. Out of this, Shifa leads the way in first way where it connects every patient to doctor of your choice anywhere on the globe. Another companies, there are two more, they help you make appointments but do not provide any of the meaningful access. All other companies, they're doing, in today's day and environment, an appointment making company raising $40 million and saying we are managing your calendar. That's not on. So what we are seeing here is our focus in healthcare is invested in the wrong areas. So I sincerely congratulate IFAH to bring this initiative forward where we need to focus on the areas where it's needed the most. Not in the areas where it looks really fancy, but it makes no sense for the patients. Next slide, please. So this is my last slide. So what is our vision? What is Shifa? So Shifa, we're launching in India on 1st of December. Health Minister have sent us acknowledgement today from India. That is very pleasing and humble experience. And I'm really glad to share with you guys that Shifa will be providing an amazing service, not only to India, but Africa and Middle East. Because the proposal we proposed was, we want to roll this out to Iran, Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, Libya, where our brothers and sisters are suffering from not having a doctor there, and it's not their fault. So we will be rolling this out in March in Africa, Middle East, to have all the world-class access to all the brothers and sisters so they can get right help there. So in Moonshot, what we want to bring in is Shifa Vets. As 7 billion people today, we will be 9 billion people in 2030. We will not have enough protein on this planet to feed everyone. So Shifa Vets will connect every single veterinarian with the commercial farming and commercial husbandry. So it means you can have a semen of Jersey cow from America to India, where milk production will go from 15 kilo to 30 kilos. You will have finest merino wool semens. You will have Angora wool. You will have alpacas. You will have finest lamb stock. You will have Wagyu beef. So that's a critical part for us. That's the next rollout for us. Then what we call is ADMs. So the prototype is in process. So ADM stands for Automated Dispensing Machine for Medicine. Why is that important? So we gave you Shifa. You had your prescription. You got your consultation from America. You live in a village where there is no pharmacy. So all that effort has gone to the waste. So automated dispensing machine can carry from 2,000 medicine to 25,000 medicine with a touch screen as a virtual pharmacist on it. So when you take your phone to the ADM, you touch it, virtual pharmacist will appear on the screen, will dispense the medicine, payment will be done through the blockchain in the background, and you can talk to the pharmacist. Every village that my vision is will have ADMs. Then crypto coin. So Bitcoin, everyone is talking about it, yeah? Cryptocurrency, everyone is talking about it. Acceptance is not there because there is no underlying physical asset lies behind a crypto coin. What we will introduce is the Shifa crypto coin, which is 5 years later, by the way. So you can have crypto coin, so you are fully insured with Shifa. You can have access to the health, access to the medicine with the coins, and you have the capital in there. And last one, not the least one. I have your data. I have your epidemiology. I have your age group. that medicine was prescribed to you. Then what we are aiming for is 1 million genome with 1 trillion base pairs. So think of the data again. 1 million genome, 1 trillion base pairs, analyzed by AI, and then it will predict your risk factor. You are above that line or you are below that line. So if you are below that line, it means you have no risk of having a heart attack in the next 5 years. Your medical premium will be $1. If you are above that line and your risk is higher, say 75% of having an oncological event, your premium will go up. So it will be the first one in the world, blockchain-enabled, AI-enabled, benchmarked by genomic sequence and epidemiological data, demographical data with family history to provide a better access to healthcare to everyone. So I stop here. Happy to take the questions, and feel free to talk to me afterwards. I don't know. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. I was waiting actually for this nice presentation.
Thank you.
I think what you have presented is there to stay, is there to develop, and the fact that in India you have one physician to 14,000 people, this technology definitely is going to help many people. What I'm really concerned about is that there is a difference between access and accessibility. And I'll tell you our experience, as a family physician who works on a value chain, not a blockchain, it's a value chain. And sometimes really, I am afraid that we are losing the natural intelligence for the favor of artificial intelligence. And I'll give you an example here. If I am using your technology, get up at 2 a.m. in the morning and I have heartburn, I'm not sure if this is truly gastroesophageal reflux or it's a heart attack. And then the first person will be from Norway, the first physician in 5 seconds. That physician will tell me, oh, it could be heartburn, it could be a heart attack, you need to go to the emergency. But I don't have a car. And the nearest emergency is like, let's say, 20, 30 kilometers away. And if I go there, I don't have insurance. And most likely, I'll pay for that physician and die in bed if I have truly a heart attack. So what I want to bring here to the people is that we need to bring the rationality in using this technology to help the patients who are in need, because the mobile smartphones, you will have it everywhere. You will have it in Africa, and I'm sure that most poor people will still have smartphones, smart apps, but they have no access to care when they need it. The accessibility to care is the most important thing that we need to work on. And I want to just say thank you for you and thank you for IFAH bringing this nice forum. And I hope that at the end of the forum, we draw in the themes and just see where those themes fit in and then continue to work to help the humanity. Thank you very much.
So, amazing question. So one thing I make absolutely clear, Shifa does not make any prediction, diagnosis, or anything. It only takes you to the clinician. So when you had the heartburn, you will go to the virtual clinic. It will connect you to the first available doctor on the system. And if that doctor is seeing you like you are not well, with press of one button, can send the ambulance, and the whole your family members will get the notification that you are not feeling well, and I think he need to go to the hospital. Ambulance is on its way. So Shifa, by no means, it's all about connecting the doctor to the patients. It does nothing else.
I'm just talking about that patient, because I'm the patient. I'm talking about that patient to the ambulance, and the ambulance can't arrive to me because they have insurance. No way. They know that I am. And even if they have access to the ambulance, they can be emergency and I have no way. That's the kind of patient I'm.
True. And if someone who does not have money, yeah, I can't assure other countries, but in India, it's mandatory to have $500,000, 500,000 rupees worth of health insurance by government now. No government hospital can refuse a patient in emergency. So, yes, you will get there. In the event of where you do not have money, it depends on governments to government. I cannot solve that global problem in that regard.
One last issue that I want to say is also about continuity of care. If I am going to see different doctors, they have different opinions, they have different training backgrounds. Like let's say today, I'm just consulting a doctor regarding my use of statins. Yep. And one doctor, let's say from North America, will say, yes, you go for that, it's important, that's your risk. And then I connect with someone in the East who just doesn't believe in that. They believe in lifestyle medicine. And they tell me, just be off that medicine. It's just gonna hurt you, it's gonna cause you cancer, it's gonna cause you diabetes, just be out of it. So where is that continuity? Where is that personal continuity with my physician?
Correct.
Those technologies can disrupt a fundamental pillar in medicine, that is continuity of care.
Yes.
Thank you.
You asked such a beautiful question. I'll tell you why. Each patient who have made an appointment with a doctor, taken a consultation and paid for it, and doctor have finished that consultation, that patient will write a review about that doctor and rate on the line. That line does not say 0 to 10. It's actually 0 to 100,000. So it's that specific, because I believe in stats, not the numerics. So when you see a doctor have treated 20,000 patients with the cardiac bypass and using this, you will make selection very informed rather than hearsay, this doctor is good or this doctor is bad. So it's fully transparent system. There's we don't advertise. We don't allow to prescribe brand. It's IN and prescribing. And it's fully, publicly, patient have evaluated that doctor, not us. We don't do any interference in that whatsoever. Is that?
First available doctor is, what are the priorities? Is it the area, city, or the time first and a combination weightage? How do you index? So
Sir,
who will be shown to me first?
Sir, you ask amazing question again.
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Last one probably.
Yes.
So when, as a doctor, you set yourself your profile, yeah? You say, I do virtual consultation in 5-kilometer area. So that's your boundary. You say, I do home consultation in 10-kilometer area. So whatever service you want to provide in what area, it's absolutely your choice in your profile.
No. The patient has chest pain and he is asking, it is 3 o'clock, and maybe at that time you have 100 doctors in UAE who are offering their services, and
Yes.
doctors in India are not offering because they are, suppose, sleeping.
Correct.
So I am talking about the doctor's availability being reported to the patient. Priority 1, geography. Priority 2, timing.
No.
What is the indexing parameter?
First available.
First available where?
Doesn't matter.
500. Yeah, agreed. That distance doesn't matter in
Yeah.
virtuality.
Correct.
But trainings.
So, but as a doctor point of view, you can choose your geography. But as a UAE doctor, if you have chosen global consultation, so algorithm will decide the first available doctor for that patient who can get to that patient in 5 seconds.
Yeah. Okay. So that means geography is in.
Yes.
Manish, this side. Manish, it was really wonderful presentation. I must compliment for your detailed study and all. My question is, like I have seen number of platforms being developed and few of being in fact couldn't survive. The point was again, as Dr. Abdullah has questioned, about the physical presence which a patient seeks during any emergency, right? and where the differential point of differential diagnosis comes, the patient is coming with either heartburn or a kind of esophageal problem. So one has to differentiate. That's one challenge which was not addressed in online platforms. Another was what Dr. Bhuj has asked. So my point is, as in Indian scenario where there are 14,000 patients behind one doctor, actually speaking, doctors who are already very busy, they don't find that much time to respond to these kind of consultations. Barring these are the public institution, private institution, maximum top consultants, senior consultants, they are always busy. Yes, few junior doctors, resident doctors, senior registrars, they used to respond and they were being compensated. Later on, in light, you must have heard, you must have done a lot of survey. There was one app developed by Healthcare Magics and later on acquired by Abix. And there was some issues came about the compensation pattern. Doctor used to log in and they used to charge immediately without just putting 2 lines. How you people are addressing that kind of issues so that it can be, yes, this will be very good for kind of second consultation, I would say, in the chronic cases or the persistent cases and emergency cases. I don't think that will be viable. You must have to supplement with other kind of support services as well.
So it's a really good question. I'll tell you the limitation why those initiatives did not work. Yeah, no one considered India speaks 65 languages. So you are a doctor, but you are no use to me because I can't speak your language. That's one. Second, the review system was not identified, means you can register on a platform, any platform, without any identification. So I am on 5 platforms in India, from Australia, and make appointments. Yeah? In Shifa, without Aadhaar card verification from the government, you will not be able to register yourself as a patient. That's one. Same thing goes for the doctor. Without Aadhaar card, MCI verification, and verbal phone discussion, you will not be verified. So when you did not have identifiable patient and they are writing the review bad things about other doctors, it really jeopardized the access to that.
Correct.
Third, the compensation. So for every doctor, the use and download is free for the rest of the life. Yeah? We do not decide fee. You charge 500, that's your fee, you will put it in. You charge 900, you will put it in. So we do not make any decision on your behalf, your schedule, your fee, your timings, your area of service, and most importantly, your crypto key that sits with you, not with us.
That will be on discussion of doctor to charge their own fee.
Absolutely. We have no packages. We are not in a business of honeymoon. We don't sell any service. We don't hire any doctor. We do not provide any recommendation whatsoever what fees you should be charging. Correct.
Good afternoon, Guillaume. On your right. I have a very small question. First of all, thank you for the talk, very interesting. I think that in the marvelous world of Utopia, it would work wonderfully. I'm just going to point out one thing that I think would be interesting, is that, for example, I'm in a very small village in India, for example, as you said, I'm going to get a LA doctor going to speak to me. First of all, he's going to charge me around $500 to $1,000 for this consultation that I might not have.
Very true.
And then afterwards, he's going to make me a prescription. What came out of the talks we had yesterday is the problem of access to medications throughout the world because of the regulations. So if the doctor prescribes something that you don't have in India, how is the patient going to take the medication? Are you going to advise the doctor in the US what medications are available in India? Or how is the patient going to do? Because if he's going to take like an epileptic treatment that is not available in India, what are you going to say to the mother? Okay, you paid $900 for a doctor, he makes you a prescription, and you cannot go and get the drug.
So, sir, what an amazing question you have asked. I didn't want to mention this. So, in India, currently what's happening, you rock up to a cardiologist, you have 65% blockage in one artery, you will be told either you'll have a stent or you go for bypass. Indication is 85% blockage minimum in 3 arteries, yeah? Now, mom, dad, family, everyone is confused. I go on the cholesterol medicine, I go on the stent, I go on the bypass surgery. No, I'll go to a doctor who will charge me $500, no bias whatsoever. Without even leaving my house, you can't even get a visa for $500. And you got the world-class advice to save your life. Number 2, access to the medicine. So you might have heard of this or not. So globally, all internationally harmonized regulatory agencies have made this provision, what we call SAS, Special Access Scheme, or in Europe we call Named Patient Scheme. So if a medicine is not available in a country, a doctor can request that medicine without even approval via the regulatory agency sent to the patient via that doctor. So all those things are available, but not being utilized.
One question.
Issues. Let's say that a physician, let's say in Sweden, prescribed something for me in Saudi Arabia, and then I had, let's say, a permanent disability because of that medication. What is the regulation in this case? Like, you know, how do you license doctors, and how do you handle malpractice issues? This is, I think, a critical one. Thank you.
So that's a very good question. So that's why we're doing not the parallel launch, we're doing the sequential launch. So first we're launching in India. So it's registered in India, the law of India and the MCI of India law will be applicable. So when we'll bring in on Sweden doctors, it will be registered in Sweden, the law of Sweden will be applying, and they will be subject to the terms and conditions of that country. So it's not like Uber sits in US and no law applies. So country by country, there will be registration to the Shifa, and doctors will be abide by that.
So if there is a trial and I am needed to attend there in Sweden.
Sorry?
Because let's say there is a trial for the physician.
Yes.
Who's going to pay me to travel to Sweden to attend the trial?
Oh, we have medical legal team on there. So a patient, when, for example, we registered in Sweden, yeah? You received a malpractice report. Patient have provided that, yes, I was treated by this doctor, that treatment is wrong, and because of that, I'm suffering with this. We have full medical legal team by country to take that case to the local authority. In Indian case will be, say, MCI, it will be reported. If doctor is found guilty, license will be cancelled or suspended or whatever the outcome will be. Apologies, I took longer than I should have.
Thank you. That was very, very insightful. Again, please feel free to ask the rest of your questions during the networking session. Thank you very much for the inspiring speech. Thank you.
Thank you very much.